Hey there, you're watching The Appreciationist. My name is Peter Hartman,
Hi, I'm Valerie Soule.
and tonight we're talking about accessing your power. Let's get into it. I actually, before we get into that topic, I want to let you know just what's coming up for TLOA in the next coming weeks. I just want to let you know I'm doing a comedy show, stand-up comedy on May 7th. So if you're in the Montreal area, you want to come and hear me speak in a different light, different context, I'll be at the Catacombs downtown in Montreal. That's going to be at around, doors open at 6:45 p.m. So there are still some early bird tickets left to be sold online. There are $5 tickets there. So if you want to come out, I definitely urge you to check that out. You can find that information at thelawofattraction.ca. And I'm just letting you know what's coming up. I'm toying with this idea. I'm about to put it on the calendar. I'm a little nervous about it. I do talk about stand-up comedy a lot on the show and what we do, because I really believe in stand-up comedy and its ability to transform tragedies or bad situations into positive situations. It's an exercise that I think is very useful. Also, laughter is a great medicine. Laughter makes you feel good. It's a great way to begin a week, end a week. So we're going to be doing a meetup. We're going to be doing a stand-up comedy show for TLOA. It's going to be by TLOA members for TLOA members, so it's not exactly open to the public. And I'm just going to challenge people to leave their comfort zone and to try out some jokes, microphone, and stand in front of people. So we're going to get together for a kind of mingle, maybe some wine, some beer, some food to eat, and we're going to have some fun time trying to make each other laugh. And don't worry about it, because Tom and I will be there. We'll probably have another comedian to sort of end the show, so it'll be a really funny time. But if you've ever thought about giving it a try, I definitely encourage you to check that out. So keep an eye out on our calendar. That's going to be coming up very shortly. That's what's happening for TLOA. The most important thing we do for the show is called a moment of appreciation. And that's where we look back at the past 7 days and we pick out something that we appreciated. It could be something good that happened that's easy to appreciate, or it could be something that wasn't so great, but that we can see the value in today. For example, just last night, I am helping, I hear my niece calling. She's 6 years old. She's in her bedroom. Now, the 2-year-old had pulled down the blinds earlier in the week, and so she can just see out her window, and it's dark, and she's scared at night. She sees the branches and the trees moving, and she gets kind of scared. You know how it is, Val, with these kids when they look out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked in there. She's, Peter, Peter. So I walk in there, and she says, I don't have blinds. I need some help. I don't know what to do. She's afraid. And I just had a really fun time talking to her, explaining how there are no monsters in the world. And it was like a very cute experience. It's one of those experiences that I hear about, that I read about. And I managed to put up her blind, but I didn't do so before a few minutes of just talking with her, letting her know that there are no there are no real monsters in the world, and that was a lot of fun. And then I had another time with the 2-year-old where he is now afraid of ants for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but he got afraid of ants and ladybugs. I guess he heard some bad things about them. And I was had to hold him multiple times today and comfort him. And I don't know, I never really allowed myself to really fully enjoy comforting him, but I'm holding him and I'm patting him on the back and I'm saying it's okay. And man, was it a blissful experience. I just sort of all of a sudden understood how parents must feel with their kids. There are times where I think kids, they're fun, but borrow a child. Don't own a child, borrow one. But it was fun. I could see how people could really appreciate having someone that depends on you, that derives comfort from being with you, and that you yourself also get benefits. You get joy, you get pleasure, you get satisfaction from connecting to another human being. So those are two interesting experiences for me this week. It was eye-opening. I'm not going to have kids anytime soon, I don't think, but I was going to say something very terrible. I'll say it anyway. If the worst should happen to my brother, I'll take care of Baron. I'll take care of the guy. Well, that's my moment of appreciation this week. I had one more. Wait, am I stepping on your toes, Val? Did you have?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No.
I had one more. I almost wasn't going to mention it, but if there are any children in the room, just sort of block their ears and move them out. I was watching this documentary series on Netflix. It's called Hot Girls Wanted Turned On. Now, it's a continuation in a series of topics, and they're talking about the adult industry, and they're really shining the light on the adult industry from everything from tube sites to cam girls, and it was very eye-opening to see what happens behind the camera, what happens behind the scene. If you are a curious person, I didn't watch this because I had some great desire to know what was going on, but man, was it eye-opening, and I felt really heartfelt moments for the people who were doing this, for the people who consume the content, and the meeting of the two. So that's on Netflix right now, at least Netflix Canada, probably in Netflix US, and you can go on and check that out. It's eye-opening, and if you just want to take a peek into a world that you may not know a lot about, that was a lot of fun. So I really appreciated that. I thought it had very strong tones of female empowerment and of personal responsibility. So that was pretty good for me.
I saw it. Oh, I saw a couple of episodes.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I thought that was, yeah, very interesting. It really was like, wow, okay, information I didn't know I needed, but I'm really glad I have it now.
That's right.
No, I honestly, I was interested by the symbol. It was like, because I'm looking at logos and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is a brilliant logo, or whatever you want to call it. And then so I just looked it up, and then I got hooked. I was like, wow, this is super interesting.
It really is super interesting. And if you only watch one of those episodes, watch episode 6, which is called Take Me Private. That one was, wow.
Yeah, they're very different. I think I saw the first and second, and they're very different, but so interesting.
Yeah, there is. And oh man, when I heard the theme song, that song just moved me last night. It made me feel really good. It's just really cool intro song, and I've got to go find music that sounds like that. It was very, very, very cool. Anyway,
this is funny. I usually remember music, and I can't remember it now. I'm gonna have to check it out. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. How about you? Got a moment of appreciation for me, Val?
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've had tons, because it was my birthday on Monday, and so I had friends that celebrated me in very thoughtful and beautiful ways. So that's easy, but not so easy. I'm making cold calls to try to develop my life coaching business further, and it's super interesting. It definitely out of my comfort zone, like calling people you don't know in an industry you don't know, because I'm not calling in life coaching industry, of course. So but it's I'm learning so much from it. And I'm surprising myself, and so when like one phone call that doesn't go well, then of course, you learn from it. You go, okay, so how could I do this better? And so but I'm so grateful, because like week after week, like the very first person I talked to was not a no, and it was a lot of information that helped me for the others, so I was very grateful that very first person was the kind of person that gave me so much. And then the first people that were ready to see the document that I had worked on, I was like, wow, yeah, I get to send a document. And then I get to send 5 documents. I call 5 people, and then I get 5 people who want to see the document. And I'm like, is this really happening? So it's a lot of growth. It's surprises. And it's honestly, first of all, in terms of law of attraction, I'm just picking names from a bag. That's how I do it. I've got like the potential clients in there, and I'm just picking. I'm going, okay, law of attraction is gonna,
That's really cool.
tell me, and it's kind of, and so sometimes I pick names of companies. I'm like, oh my god, this is a huge company. Really, I'm ready for this. So it's fun. It's kind of a fun game that way, and then I go for it. I'm like, okay, that's the one I pick. I'm going with that, and. So, and honestly, sometimes I have to stop and go, okay, well, wait a minute. I got to get used to where I'm at now, like depending whether it's a no or yes, or it's a different level every time. It takes you to a different place. You have more information, and more information on myself as well. So it's very interesting. It's, and observing all of this is yeah. It's really a great experience. So I'm thinking of you guys and talking about getting out of your comfort zone. Man, am I ever?
Well, look, I think You know, getting out, leaving your comfort zone is not exactly, well, look, it's not comfortable, it's uncomfortable, but it's something that you appreciate. I mean, for me, it's something that I appreciate in hindsight. You know, when it's over, then I can look back and sort of praise myself for what was happening there. But it's so necessary for growth. Oh, if you're not doing that on a regular basis, if you're not challenging yourself, I mean, that's one of the reasons. You know, I had a frank conversation with myself this past week about, you know, what I really love doing and what I really appreciate and what I'm willing to be uncomfortable for. And it's one of the reasons I came up with this idea to do stand-up comedy. Actually, it was watching that that documentary that made me think about that. You know, these people, they are obviously leaving their comfort zones to do something else. And I thought, well, what am I doing to leave my comfort zone? I don't want to be routine. I don't want to be in a rut, and I want to sort of express myself in the best way possible. So I'm really glad that picking names out of a bag. That's like a classic Val. You know, just like really relying on serendipity in order to connect you with potential clients, people who
yeah, it's going to give me exactly where I'm at. It's going to be a match to, you know, where I'm at right now, and it's going to give me information to move on and to the next one and the next one and the next one. So it's quite an experience.
That's very cool. And you had a birthday, so happy birthday, belatedly, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it was fun. I had, all kinds of nice surprises, and yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, I'm really happy about that. I actually like this moment of appreciation. I like having the time to sort of talk about it and to dwell on it. It's one of the reasons I took out the other parts of the show. So it's really a lot of fun. If you have a moment of appreciation you'd like to share with us, you can send that in on facebook.com/theappreciationist, or you can come onto the show with your webcam and microphone and communicate with the world directly. All right, well, look, the topic of the show is accessing power. And I was actually really excited to talk about this because when we're talking about the law of attraction, we're talking about personal empowerment. I mean, this is it, accessing your power and how you do that. If you look at my flyer here, let's pull this out. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I have a flyer and it says, this is backwards to you, or is it right way forward?
No, it's good.
So it says, what can you believe? And honestly, this is where I believe your power comes from. It comes from the belief system that you have in your mind, the way your thoughts are synchronized or orchestrated. You know, we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves because of discomfort. We limit ourselves because of fear. We limit ourselves because of doubt. And the belief system that you hold is what's going to allow you to meander, allow you to sort of weave yourself through the obstacles in your life. And so if you're wanting to access power, in my opinion, I think finding a belief system that allows you the greatest sort of possibilities, the greatest scope, the greatest spectrum of action, of moving forward, is the one that you want to adopt. So let's say you believe that you only get what God wants you to get, for example. Right, that's a belief system. Let's say a religious belief system. Well, then you might want something and think you can't get it because you think God doesn't want you to have it, for example. And that's a limiting belief. It's a limiting belief to believe that something is stopping you from getting it. Now, the belief as a whole can be valuable, but you want to ask yourself, how can I modify the belief that I have, or what belief can I adopt in order for me to believe in more possibilities? And to me, the law of attraction is about that. To me, the law of attraction is a belief system that frees up your mind to move forward, to access everything that's in front of you. And so to me, your power comes from, I believe you are a powerful being. I believe you are an energetic being, a creative force that is only limited by the thoughts that you think in your mind. And so I say, choose a belief system that allows you to believe the most things. And I like to tell people I have a tough job as a motivational speaker. I don't go around telling people, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can, because you don't always believe yes, you can. Sometimes it feels like a lie. But if you can believe that maybe you can, maybe you can, maybe you can, then that can that is always true. And that's what the law of attraction is to me. It's this idea that maybe you can create your reality. There are always two dimensions to this experience. There's the objective reality, what you're experiencing in the outside world, and then there's a subjective reality, what you're experiencing on the inside, your thoughts and your feelings. And you can't control the outside world, right? You have some influence over it, but you can't control it. But you can control the way you think and feel. And so the world is as affected by outside forces as it is affected by the way you think and feel. And so do everything that you can. Adopt a belief system that allows you to think and feel the way you want to. So to me, accessing power is about the belief system that you have. Val, does that make any sense?
Yes, makes a whole lot of sense. And now I understand the theme even better.
Good, good. Yeah, well, that's, I feel, don't you ever just feel sometimes, like you could do so much more, you have so many ideas, and there's days where you're just feeling on fire, and then there are other days where you're like, I'm not good, and it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And what's the difference between those 2 days, right? Is it
a state of mind? I went to a French conference on Sunday, actually, and that's another moment of appreciation in a way. And it was a workshop more than a conference. It was a workshop, so it was great because like we would be taught a technique and then we try it right away, and it was great. And one of the techniques it reminded me a little bit of one of the ones that I do, but it was basically so you ask pretty much the same question over and over. So if you were supported if you felt that you were completely supported by the universe and life as a whole, how would you feel? What would you do? What would your experience be? And all of that. And then you keep asking, because then it's every time you go to a higher level, more and more and more, and you feel it more. And so it's that's what it is. It is accessing your power. I believe that's, and it's by changing your perspective, or by just thinking beyond what you think your boundaries or limits are on a day-to-day basis. So when you change your state of mind, or he called it état de conscience, in French, and it was all about that. And he basically proved that that's not all it takes, but that is the main thing.
Absolutely, it definitely is. And if you're looking to jump into that pool, you have to ask yourself, how willing am I to change what I believe? And it might be harder than you think. The beliefs that you hold are there because of your life experience, because of everything that has brought you to this moment. And I've had conversations. I don't know if you've had conversations with people, Val, where they're just sort of stubbornly stuck on what they believe. No, my father is like this. No, my boss is like this. No, this can't change. No, this can't be true. And you want to ask yourself, well, are you willing to look at what you believe to be firmly true and to doubt it? That's part of what I think. Are you willing to look at, I can't do this thing. I can't do stand-up comedy. I can't do public speaking. I can't do this thing. And are you willing to say, maybe I can do that thing? And I find that it's this audacity, this audacious willingness to be brazen, to confront the firm beliefs that you hold, right? We have firm beliefs, we have beliefs that are nebulous, but it's those firm ones where you say, no, this is a limitation that I have, and it's absolutely true. I am not good at remembering the names. I am not good at doing this thing. And that's the very thing I think we should start challenging, because that's when you see your power. That's when you see what you're capable of. And that's what children are going through, right? Children are going through this process of having experiences, finding things that are limiting, and then daring themselves to go past it. And I don't know, some of us, I don't know. Maybe I was born with a willingness, a stubborn willingness to question everything. I mean, that's what I do. I'm just like a skeptic at heart. But I think there are a lot of people out there with very firm beliefs that I would like to just shatter.
You can't force them, Peter.
Oh, I can't force them, but you can inspire people with ways of moving forward. Happy for change is an idea like that. But like yesterday, I was actually trying to write down some arguments about gun control. In the United States, they talk a lot about gun control. They have tons of guns. It's not like here in Canada, tons of guns. United States, there's a debate going on in.
Well, it's been going on for years. It comes up regularly.
That's right. And I started thinking, I say, well, how would I solve this problem? You know, what would I do? What opinion could I offer on the subject of gun control? You know, and I actually started writing this down. I wasn't planning on saying this here today, but I'll just give you an example of challenging beliefs. You know, so I believe guns are harmful. I believe that they're bad. But there are two reasons why these gun lovers in the United States, they want their guns. One, they want to be able to defend themselves and their property. So if somebody breaks into your house or something like that, that makes sense, right? And then there is the second one, which is a little more far-fetched, which is to defeat the government, right? If the government turns on its people, then the people should have weapons in order to fight the government. It's how they were able to fight and get their independence. Britain wanted to take their weapons, and they stopped them from taking their weapons because they knew once they give up their weapons, they wouldn't be able to defend themselves. Well, today we live in a world where the government is far more powerful than anybody's, than your gun, and there's no amount of ammunition that you're going to be able to stock up to go against the government. But these are legitimate concerns. So I said, well, why can't we come up with a non-lethal weapon, a non-lethal gun that people can have in their home to protect themselves, right? That's something that you can do. And why not have a principle in the government? And this is something that I was really falling in love with. Why not have a principle that says, I'm sorry, Val, have you ever heard people say, soldiers say, I was just following orders?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just following orders.
My brother was in the military, so yeah.
That's right, and that's what happens, right? You just follow orders, and sometimes soldiers are ordered to do terrible things. A very extreme example of that is what happened in World War II, right? And so that's what we're worried about. We're worried that good, decent people will be ordered by a fascist, dictatorial government to do things, to control people, to subjugate them, and that no individual would have the power in order to stop that. And so people need guns in order to fight the government. Okay, fine. Well, what if we adopt a principle in the military, a principle in government that says that whenever this principle is expressed, that a soldier can't attack an American citizen for any reason, even if they're ordered to do it, even if it's for national security, that they can't attack for any reason, that we make it impossible for that to happen. Well, I think those types of conversations are better than looking at the gun nut and saying, you're crazy, you're insane, you're harming the country, you're doing all these things bad, instead of looking at your counterpart as an enemy. And that's the belief I'm talking about. Looking at the other side and saying, this is my enemy, and I have to defeat my enemy, which I can't. Instead of looking at that person and saying your enemy, can you look at them and say, no, they are my family, they are my friend, they are my comrades, they are part of our country, you know? Can you look at your enemy and care for them and love them and respect what they're saying and finding solutions for that? It's the same way I felt when I was talking to the 6-year-old about the monsters outside. She believed in monsters, right? And it'd be crazy if I went up to her and say, you're stupid, there are no monsters, just go to sleep. I sort of honored the way she was feeling, and I found solutions that honored that. And I have a belief system that allows me to do that for monsters outside, and for gun control, and for terrorism, and for drugs, and for anything. And so that's, to me, unleashing power. That's unleashing creative thought. And you do so by looking at what you think is immovable and doubting that, what you think is impossible, and being skeptical about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because lately I've been, you know how we've talked about, and there have been studies about, it's not stress that kills you, but it's you believing that stress kills you, that kills you. I've known this, you know, for a long time, and I still believe that for me, stress is no good, or that pressure is no good for me. But it was like, well, yeah, that's the way I am. As you were saying, it's like, oh, that's the way I am. So how do I work with that? And I'm working around that or with that. But it's like, okay, well, how about questioning that altogether, completely, you know? And I think it was last week, I was like, well, yeah. It's like, I know this, but I'm just taking it, oh, well, I'm just one of those people that believe that stress is harmful for them, you know? But how about just like questioning that altogether? That changes everything. So, and I do believe that anything is possible. And so that doesn't work with, you know, stress is not good for me. That doesn't work. You cannot have the belief that, oh, everything is possible, and then at the same time have the belief that, oh, yeah, for me, like stress is harmful. So it's, yeah. So the minute you question everything, it really frees you. It's, and we're not always ready, and we don't have to question everything all the time, every minute of every day. But once you do it, a little bit at a time, and it can, it's like you're exploring a new world.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's one of the reasons I love science. Science, what science is this inbuilt principle that says question everything. Question everything. Question what the king says, question what the Bible says, question what the other scientists say, question everything. And why not take that same skepticism and apply it to your life? We tend to believe that, well, questioning means that I'm doubtful, that I'm doubting. But then question yourself about that. Is doubt bad? Is stress bad? Is sadness bad? Is pain bad? And I think if you open yourself up to questioning more and more, like you expressed, Val, that you are inevitably going to come to the understanding that says, if I choose to believe that anything is possible or all that I desire is possible, I must change this other firm belief, or else I'm existing in this sort of paradoxical state where sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I'm not okay. Whereas, whenever I find myself down in the dumps, well, that's something I realized about myself. I am never so down in the dumps that I feel completely sort of powerless. In fact, when things are the hardest, I feel even stronger. It's a strange feeling, and I wish that more people could feel that way. I wish people could feel hope. We had a discussion a little while ago, University of the Streets with Concordia, and I was talking to them about Happy for a Change, and there was a lot of pessimism in the room, and I just wanted to let them know, yes, the world is filled with problems and there's crisis out there, but it's a glorious time to live in. It's a land of opportunity. We have so many ways forward because of the trouble, especially because of the trouble. And that's the thing that keeps me awake at night. How can I communicate to people that your power gets unleashed when there's stress, when there's pressure, when your back is against the wall? I mean, that's when that's when you're either going to get destroyed, or you will rebound. You will become resilient. You'll rise to the occasion. And maybe you're right. Maybe people are okay with being stressed out there, and that's perfectly fine. And maybe people are okay with not being as powerful as they can be, and that's absolutely okay. But if you're a person out there looking to unleash your power, you're going to have to find that not only in positive, high-feeling emotions, but you're going to find that in those negative experiences, those troubling experiences. And another way to say that is you're going to find that in those beliefs that you hold to be true, to dismantle them, to destroy them, in order to build up something that is far more powerful.
Well, and I believe that you, by questioning your beliefs, it's like you're ready to adopt other ones that will just, open your mind more, that you're opening up your world more than, and it doesn't mean you don't believe in anything. You just believe in something, as you said, that just gives you more power.
Absolutely, exactly. So you're not going to go, well, stress, well, because they say stress, it's the belief that stress that kills you. You're not going to then go, okay, bring on all the stress and I want all the stress and stress is good. You're just going to be more willing to, you're not going to feel bad about feeling bad. You're going to feel stress and let that be, as opposed to feeling stress about feeling stress, right?
Right, exactly. So, yeah, and then still be willing to go through some of it and go, well, okay, it's not going to kill me. I'm sure I'm going to learn something from it. And if nothing else, just the experience.
Exactly right. And so the transformation of the belief, it doesn't go from stress is bad to stress is good. That's crazy. You go from stress is bad and good. Right? That's the true power belief, and that to me is the maybe part. That to me is the best belief system that allows you to access your power. It's believing both things, not nothing but both things. This is good and bad. This is my enemy and my friend. This is what I want and not what I want. And so that way you're going to move forward with more nuance, more subtlety, more of that spectrum opened up to you, so that you can do more. That's a fun conversation, Val.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. My goodness, a lot of fun. If you want to find out more about Val, and you definitely want to talk to her if you're interested in life coaching, receiving life coaching, go to thepowerofelmotions.ca. That's thepowerofelmotions.ca. She also does meetups in our group at thelawattraction.ca. Just click on calendar, and you'll find everything that goes on there. Reminding you again, I'll be doing stand-up comedy. I'm gonna be, and for the show that we'll be doing for the Law of Attraction group, the comedy show, I'm gonna try and write up some Law of Attraction jokes. So get ready for that. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun poking fun at what I believe. I think that'll go along with the theme of the show here today. Well,
I gotta go. So
take care,
thank you
Val.
very much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Well, that's it for all of us. I just want to let you know, accessing your power, it was really something that I really wanted to talk about here today, because I think it's at the heart of what everybody really wants. We feel positive emotion when we feel powerful when we feel positive emotion, when we believe in our own ability to move forward, when we feel like things are right, when we feel connected to who we are. All positive emotion is some variation of believing that you can, believing that you're good, believing that you're worthy. And all negative emotion is believing in some way, doubting in your own ability, doubting your own self. Anger, fear, frustration, irritation, boredom, those are all sort of sense of loss of control. And when we feel loss of control, we feel disempowered. And so, yes, you want to find ways of looking at your life, looking at what is, and asking yourself, how is this valuable? How does this fit? How is this connected? How can I feel love? And when you do that more regularly, when you practice that appreciation, not only for what's good, but also for what's not so great, then you start seeing those things in a different light. I talked about before that there are two major dimensions to life. There's the outward dimension, the objective reality, that which you experience on the outside world. And then there's the inner experience, your perception, your thoughts, and your feelings. And you can't control what happens on the outside world, but you can influence the heck out of it. And you do so by shifting your perspective, by changing the way you're seeing what's going on right now. How is this valuable? How is this pain in my body valuable? How does this breakup make me more powerful? How does losing my job allow me to do more? When you start asking those questions and looking out into the world with the expectation of seeing the answers to those questions, then you become one who observes far more than the average person, and you can deliberately choose among the spectrum of possibilities that have always been present there in front of you. Accessing your power starts with the willingness to tackle those beliefs that you hold most true. Your enemy is not your enemy. Your limitation is not your limitation. And what you believe that you can't do, you can do, as long as you desire to do it. Go out there, enjoy the rest of the week, and find a reason to laugh, find a reason to question, and question everything. That's it for the show. Tune in next Wednesday for another exciting episode of The Appreciationist. Take care, everyone.